Imagine this. You wake up one morning and someone tells you that you've just lost 86, 400 rupees overnight. You'd panic, right? But every single day we lose 86, 400 seconds. And most of us don't even realize their worth. Today, I'll share the story of a lazy boy who learned the value of time the hard way. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see a bit of yourself in him. Time is life. Every tick of the clock is a heartbeat of our existence. When we waste time, we are not just losing minutes or hours, we are losing pieces of our very own life. Think about it. Every morning when the sun rises, we're gifted with a brand new set of 24 hours, 40 minutes, 86, 400 seconds. But how many of us truly use that gift wisely? Most of us scroll through our phones, get lost in distractions, and tell ourselves, I'll do it later. Yet time keeps moving. It never waits, never pauses, never looks back. Once a second is gone, it's gone forever. No power in the world can bring it back. You can regain money after losing it. You can rebuild trust after breaking it. You can even heal after being hurt. But you can never regain lost time. Every second that slips through your fingers is a part of your life you'll never live again. And the saddest truth is, many people realize this only when it's too late. Imagine a boy sitting under a tree, watching the clouds pass by, thinking he has all the time in the world. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly he wakes up one day wondering where it all went. That's how time works. Silently, invisibly, it moves forward, carrying your dreams, your opportunities, and your chances along with it. The boy thought he was resting, but in reality, life was moving on without him. Time is not something you manage, it's something you respect. Respecting time means respecting yourself. When you value your time, you value your goals, your growth, and your potential. Every successful person you see today, whether a leader, artist, or athlete, didn't get there because they had more hours in a day. They had the same 24 hours as everyone else. The difference was how they used them. They didn't waste time waiting for the right moment. They created it. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, remember, the seconds that pass while you hesitate are seconds of your life that will never return. The moments you waste today become the regrets you carry tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it will never come. The perfect time is now. The perfect moment is this one, the one you're living in. When you start seeing time as life itself, everything changes. You stop delaying your dreams. You stop taking people for granted. You stop sleeping through your purpose. You realize that every day is a chance to write a new chapter of your story. And only those who use their time wisely will ever finish their book of life with pride, peace, and fulfillment. Procrastination steals dreams. It's one of the most silent killers of potential. It never arrives suddenly or loudly. It creeps into your life disguised as comfort, disguised as the thought, I'll do it tomorrow. Those 4 simple words have destroyed more ambitions, goals, and dreams than failure ever has. The truth is, procrastination doesn't just waste your time, it slowly steals your confidence, your discipline, and your future. The lazy boy in our story was never a bad person. He simply believed he had time. When his parents told him to study, he said, I'll start after dinner. After dinner, he said, I'll begin tomorrow morning. The next day became the next week, and the next week became the next exam. And when that exam finally came, he failed, not because he was unintelligent, but because procrastination had robbed him of his preparation. That's the dangerous thing about delay. It always feels harmless in the moment. You tell yourself, just 5 more minutes, or I'll do it later. But those laters pile up like stones, and before you realize it, you've built a wall between yourself and your goals. Every time you delay a task, you make it harder to start. The habit of postponing small things eventually becomes a pattern that ruins big opportunities. Procrastination is comforting because it gives you a false sense of control. You think you're in charge because you've decided to do it later. But in reality, you're not controlling your time. Your time is controlling you. It's slipping through your hands while you sit back, convincing yourself that you'll do it when you feel ready. The painful truth is, you'll never feel perfectly ready. No one ever does. Progress only begins when you stop waiting for motivation and start taking action, even when it feels uncomfortable. Every dream demands effort, and effort requires consistency. A person who starts small every day moves ahead faster than someone who keeps planning big but never begins. The lazy boy learned this too late. After losing chances, he realized that procrastination had cost him not only success but self-respect. Because when you constantly delay, deep down, you start losing trust in yourself. You begin to believe that you're not capable of finishing what you start. That inner doubt becomes a heavy chain that keeps you from moving forward. To overcome procrastination, you don't need to make huge changes overnight. You just need to begin right where you are with what you have. Start the assignment, read the first page, write the first line, make the first step. Once you begin, momentum builds, and that small start can turn into great achievement. Action destroys procrastination. Remember, tomorrow is not promised. The moment you keep pushing forward to, someday, might never come. Each day you delay your dreams, someone else out there is working for theirs. Someone else is building, improving, growing, while you are waiting. And one day, when you finally decide to act, you might find that the opportunity has already passed. So stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for everything to align. The best time to start is now, this very moment, because once it's gone, you'll never get it back. Procrastination will whisper comfort, but time will always shout truth, that every second you waste is a step further from the life you want. Every second counts, it truly does. Every breath we take, every moment that passes, shapes the story of our life. Yet most of us live as if time is infinite, as if we can pause it whenever we wish. But the truth is, time is constantly moving, quietly, invisibly, and irreversibly. Every second that slips away either brings you closer to your dreams or pushes you further from them. The difference lies in how you choose to use it. Think of life as a giant clock, ticking endlessly. Each tick is a choice. You can either make it meaningful or let it go unnoticed. Successful people understand this secret. They know that the smallest of moments, the tiniest of efforts, can create massive change over time. 1 second of courage can change the course of your entire life. 1 second of decision can open doors that hesitation would have left closed forever. The lazy boy in our story didn't understand this. He believed that small moments didn't matter. It's just 1 hour, he would say. Just one more episode, one more scroll, one more nap. But that 1 hour repeated daily became a habit, and that habit shaped his entire future. He never realized that while he was wasting minutes, someone else was using theirs to grow, to learn, to build, to become better. He was losing the race without even realizing he was running in one. Every second holds power, power to act, to change, to learn, to love, to make a difference. But once it passes, that power disappears. You can't pause time like a video or rewind it like a song. When a moment is gone, it's gone forever. And that's what makes every second so precious. Those who understand this life differently, they don't rush, but they don't waste. They move with purpose, knowing that time is not their enemy. It's their greatest teacher. We often think that big achievements come from grand actions, but in truth, success is built on the smallest of moments. The decision to wake up early, the choice to study for 5 more minutes, the will to stay consistent even when you're tired. These small actions, these seconds of effort, accumulate silently. Over weeks, months, and years, they become the foundation of greatness. That's why every second counts. Each moment is like a seed, and how you use it determines what kind of future you grow. Think about it. A single second can change everything. A second of distraction can cause a mistake. A second of bravery can save a life. A second of kindness can heal someone's heart, and a second of focus can lead to a breakthrough. Time doesn't just measure life, it defines it. Those who understand its value live intentionally, not carelessly. They don't say, "I'll do it someday." They say, "I'll do it now," because they know that someday is not on the calendar, only today is. When you start treating every second like an opportunity, you begin to see how powerful you truly are. You stop wasting time on regret or worry because you realize that the present moment is all you ever really have. Every second you spend complaining could be a second used for creating. Every second you waste thinking about what you can't control could be used to build what you can. Life doesn't give you extra seconds, it only gives you choices. The lazy boy learned this when he looked back and saw how many moments he had thrown away. He realized that success isn't about working hard once in a while. It's about using every small second wisely. That's how winners are made, not by talent alone, but by respecting the value of each heartbeat, each moment, each breath. So don't underestimate a single second of your life. The time you have right now, this very instant, is shaping the person you are becoming. Use it to grow, to move forward, to do something meaningful. Because when you finally reach your goals, you'll look back and realize it wasn't one big moment that changed your life. It was 1,000 small seconds that you refused to waste. Discipline creates freedom. A simple phrase, yet one of the deepest truths of life. Most people think of discipline as a restriction, a limitation that stops them from enjoying life. But in reality, discipline is the very thing that gives you control, peace, and true freedom. Without discipline, you become a slave, not to other people, but to your own habits, moods, and distractions. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a form of self-respect. It's you saying to yourself, I am worthy of a better life, and I will take charge of it. The lazy boy in our story never liked discipline. He thought waking up early was too hard, following a routine was boring, and making sacrifices wasn't worth it. He wanted comfort more than progress, pleasure more than purpose. But comfort, when chosen too often, becomes a cage. Slowly, it traps you in a life of missed chances and lost potential. He realized too late that freedom without discipline is an illusion. It looks easy at first, but it leads to chaos, regret, and wasted time. True freedom comes when you can control your impulses, when you can choose what's right over what's easy. Think about it. A student who is disciplined in studying enjoys the freedom of good results. An athlete who trains every day gains the freedom to win. A person who manages their time well gains the freedom to live fully without stress. On the other hand, someone who lacks discipline spends every day rushing, regretting, and reacting to problems they could have prevented. Discipline doesn't take away freedom. It creates it by helping you design your life instead of drifting through it. Every great person you admire has mastered the art of discipline. They didn't reach success by accident or luck. They built it through consistency, sacrifice, and focus. They woke up even when they didn't feel like it. They practiced even when it was boring. They stayed committed even when no one was watching. That's the hidden side of discipline. It demands effort, but it rewards you with results that comfort never can. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. There will be days when you fail, days when you fall, days when your motivation disappears. But discipline is what keeps you moving even when motivation fades. It's like a silent force that whispers, keep going. When your mind screams, give up. The lazy boy never understood that until he lost opportunities that could have changed his life. When he looked back, he realized that all his failures had one root: a lack of discipline. Without discipline, dreams remain just dreams. You may have big goals, big ideas, and big desires, but without the discipline to act on them daily, they will fade away like smoke in the air. Discipline gives shape to your dreams. It turns your wishes into plans and your plans into achievements. Every small act of discipline, waking up early, finishing your work on time, choosing focus over distraction, adds up to something far greater. It builds a strong foundation for success. Discipline also brings peace of mind. When you live without discipline, you live in guilt and chaos. You feel anxious about unfinished work, disappointed in yourself, and trapped in a cycle of excuses. But when you live with discipline, you feel a sense of control and pride. You don't need to chase motivation because you've built habits that move you forward automatically. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust becomes your power. The lazy boy finally learned this when he decided to change. At first, it was difficult. Waking up early felt impossible. Avoiding distractions felt painful. But with each passing day, he started to notice something new. He had more time, more energy, and more confidence. The things that once felt hard became habits. And those habits gave him a kind of freedom he had never known. The freedom to chase his goals without fear. The freedom to live each day with purpose. That is the beauty of discipline. It demands effort today, but gives you comfort for the rest of your life. It asks for consistency now, but rewards you with success forever. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's having the power to do what's right, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline gives you that power. It transforms chaos into clarity, confusion into direction, and weakness into strength. When you master discipline, you don't just control your time, you control your destiny. Set priorities, because not everything in life deserves your time, your attention, or your energy. The lazy boy in our story never understood this simple truth. He treated everything as equal. He would spend hours on things that didn't matter and delay the things that did. He would give importance to comfort, to temporary pleasure, to small distractions, and ignore his real goals. But the cruel thing about life is that if you don't set your priorities, someone else will set them for you. Time will pass either way, but without priorities, it passes without meaning. Every person on this planet has 24 hours in a day, but the difference between success and failure lies in what we choose to do with those hours. Some people use them wisely, focusing on what truly matters, while others scatter them across meaningless activities. The lazy boy wasted his mornings in bed, his afternoons on his phone, and his nights dreaming about success he never worked for. He wanted a better life, but he never gave his best time to it. He gave his best time to distractions. Setting priorities is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. You can't give your full energy to everything, so you must choose carefully. Ask yourself every morning, what is truly important today? What will bring me closer to my dreams, my peace, and my growth? The people who succeed are not those who are always busy. They are those who are busy doing what matters. Think about the way most people live. They spend hours thinking about the opinions of others, chasing approval, wasting energy on things that add no value to their life. They say yes to everything and everyone, and in doing so, they say no to themselves. But the truth is, saying no to distractions is saying yes to your dreams. Every time you choose your priorities, you choose your future. The lazy boy learned this lesson the hard way. After failing his exams and missing opportunities, he realized that his problem wasn't lack of time, it was lack of focus. He was spending his precious energy on things that didn't move him forward. Once he started setting priorities, everything changed. He stopped trying to please everyone. He stopped wasting hours scrolling, sleeping, and dreaming. He started giving his mornings to study, his evenings to reflection, and his nights to planning the next day. Slowly, his life began to take shape. Setting priorities means understanding that not everything deserves an immediate response. The world is full of noise, messages, notifications, entertainment, endless choices, all fighting for your attention. If you give in to everything, you lose control. You must learn to filter what's essential and what's not. When you prioritize wisely, you take back power over your time. You become intentional with every action. You start to live by design, not by default. Priorities also teach you self-discipline. Once you know what truly matters, it becomes easier to say no to temptations. When your mind knows where it's going, distractions lose their power. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, you'll naturally prioritize good food and exercise over laziness. If your dream is to build a career, you'll prioritize learning and hard work over wasting time. Priorities are the compass that guides you toward your purpose. But remember, setting priorities is not just about work or success. It's also about balance. It's about knowing when to rest, when to spend time with loved ones, when to care for your soul. Time given to self-care, family, and gratitude is never wasted. True success means having your priorities aligned, your goals, your health, your relationships, and your peace of mind all working together in harmony. The lazy boy, once lost in confusion, discovered clarity when he started ranking his tasks. He made a simple rule: the things that mattered most would always come first. Slowly, his days became more meaningful. He achieved more in a few focused hours than he ever did in days of careless wandering. His confidence grew because his efforts were now directed. He learned that focus is power, and priorities are what create that focus. Life gives you many choices every day, but time doesn't allow you to do them all. That's why priorities matter. You can spend your life reacting to everything or spend it creating something meaningful. Choose wisely what deserves your time, because once it's spent, you can get it back. The secret of a successful life is not to do everything, but to do the right things in the right order. When you start giving your best time to your best goals, life stops feeling chaotic. It stops feeling purposeful. So, set your priorities before the world sets them for you. Decide what truly matters and let that decision guide your days. Don't let the noise of the unimportant drown the voice of your purpose. Because at the end of the day, your priorities shape your destiny, and your destiny is built not by how much time you have, but by how wisely you choose to use it. We use mornings wisely because the way you start your day often decides how the rest of it will go. Morning is not just a time, it is a mindset, a sacred beginning, a quiet opportunity to set the rhythm for everything that follows. Those first few hours after waking are the most powerful and pure. The world is calm, the noise is low, and your mind is clear. Yet most people waste this golden time by sleeping longer, scrolling endlessly, or rushing through it without direction. The lazy boy from our story did the same. He used to wake up late every day, in a hurry, with no plan, no purpose, and no peace. He didn't realize that by wasting his mornings, he was wasting his life, his most productive hours. Morning is the seed of the day. If you plant laziness in it, you will harvest regret by evening. But if you plant discipline, focus, and gratitude, you will harvest progress, peace, and purpose. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is often found in what they do before the world wakes up. The lazy boy thought that staying up late and waking up late made no difference. But when he compared his days with those who started early, he noticed something powerful. They were calmer, sharper, and more successful. They weren't lucky, they were simply using their mornings wisely. The quiet of the morning gives you a chance to connect with yourself. It's the best time to think, to plan, to learn, to move your body, and to feed your soul before the chaos of the day begins. When you wake up early, you win twice, once over sleep and once over procrastination. You gain extra hours that most people waste, and those hours become your advantage. Imagine waking up before sunrise, when the air is still cool and the world is silent. You sit with your thoughts, you plan your goals, you move your body, and you prepare your mind. That kind of beginning gives you confidence that lasts the whole day. The lazy boy never understood this until one day he forced himself to wake up early. At first, it felt uncomfortable, even painful. His body wanted to go back to sleep, and his mind kept whispering, "Just a few more minutes." But as he stepped outside and saw the beauty of dawn, the golden sky, the stillness, the sound of birds, something changed inside him. For the first time, he felt what peace truly meant. He realized that the world looks different when you rise before it. The morning gave him clarity that he had never felt before. As days passed, he began to notice the power of a consistent morning routine. He started planning his goals every morning, setting priorities before distractions could take over. He began reading, exercising, and reflecting before checking his phone or talking to anyone. Slowly, his mindset transformed. His focus sharpened, his confidence grew, and his stress faded. The same boy who once wasted mornings in laziness began to use them as his strongest weapon for success. Morning is not just about waking up early, it's about waking up with purpose. Many people rise early, but still waste their time because they don't know what they want to do with it. The key is to have a plan, to use your mornings to feed your mind, strengthen your body, and calm your heart. Whether it's reading something inspiring, journaling your goals, meditating, praying, or simply sitting in silence, what matters is that you start your day with intention. The world outside can wait. Your inner world must come first. There's a reason why almost every successful person values the morning. It's when your energy is fresh, your thoughts are clear, and your willpower is at its highest. As the day goes on, decisions, distractions, and emotions drain that energy. That's why the first few hours matter so much. They set the tone for everything that follows. A rushed morning creates a restless day. A calm morning creates a confident one. The lazy boy once used to say, "I'll start my work later in the day." But he learned that later often turns into never. Once he mastered his mornings, he no longer had to chase motivation. He created it. The small wins he achieved in the early hours gave him momentum that carried through the rest of the day. He understood that mornings are not a burden, but a blessing, a quiet gift that can transform your entire life if used wisely. Every morning gives you two choices: to continue sleeping with your dreams or to wake up and chase them. The difference between the two determines the kind of life you'll live. So, rise with gratitude, act with intention, and protect those first hours as if they were gold, because they are. The morning doesn't just belong to early risers, it belongs to those who choose to make it meaningful. The sun will rise either way, but what you do when it does will decide whether you grow with it or stay in its shadow. Small actions daily lead to big results. That's the secret truth behind every success story, though most people never realize it until it's too late. We live in a world obsessed with quick success, overnight achievements, and dramatic transformations. But life doesn't work that way. Real growth, real change, real achievement, all of it is built quietly, slowly, and patiently through small, consistent actions taken every single day. The lazy boy in our story never understood this. He believed that greatness came from one big effort, one sudden burst of motivation. He would wait for a special day, a perfect mood, or a lucky chance to start working hard. But that day never came because he never took the first small step. The truth is, success is not a one-time event. It is a process, a chain of small, seemingly ordinary actions that, when repeated with discipline, create extraordinary results. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see a tree the next morning. You water it daily, protect it from harm, and wait patiently. Slowly, it grows roots deep into the ground before it even begins to rise above it. Similarly, every small action you take builds invisible roots of progress inside you, habits, confidence, knowledge, and strength that prepare you for visible success later. The lazy boy once thought that doing small things didn't matter. What difference will one page make? He'd say while skipping his reading. What's the point of studying for just 10 minutes? He'd think while wasting hours online. But time has a strange way of rewarding those who use it wisely. The boy didn't realize that small actions, when repeated daily, compound into massive change. 10 minutes of learning daily becomes 60 hours in a year. A small act of kindness daily becomes a life full of good relationships. Even 1% improvement every day makes you 37 times better in a year. Every great athlete, writer, entrepreneur, or leader began with small steps. They weren't born extraordinary. They became extraordinary through simple daily habits, waking up early, practicing their craft, improving a little every single day. The difference between them and those who fail is not talent, but consistency. The lazy boy waited for motivation, but successful people rely on habit. They don't wait to feel ready, they simply show up. And by showing up day after day, they create a rhythm that becomes unstoppable. There's power in repetition. Doing something small every day builds momentum. It strengthens your mind and teaches you patience. Each time you follow through on a small promise to yourself, you prove that you can be trusted. You start believing in your own strength. That belief becomes the foundation of confidence. You realize that change doesn't happen because of one huge effort. It happens because of quiet persistence. The boy eventually learned this after failing many times. He decided to start small, just 15 minutes of focused study every morning. It didn't feel like much at first, but within weeks, he noticed progress. His understanding improved, his grades began to rise, and for the first time, he felt proud of himself. The beauty of small actions is that they are achievable. You don't need to climb the whole mountain in one day. You just need to take one step at a time, but take it every day. Those steps might seem slow, but they add up. Even a river begins with a drop. Even a masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. The problem is, most people quit too soon. They underestimate the power of small progress because they can't see instant results. But just because you can't see the change doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth is often silent. Seeds grow underground long before they bloom. The lazy boy learned patience through this truth. When he finally committed to small daily actions, he stopped expecting immediate results. Instead, he focused on consistency. He learned to celebrate small wins, finishing a task, waking up on time, choosing discipline over comfort. Over time, those small victories became habits, and those habits transformed his life. What once felt impossible became normal, and what once seemed far away became achievable. Small actions also teach humility. They remind you that progress is not about showing off, but about showing up. No one may notice your effort at first. No one may applaud your small beginnings. But that doesn't matter because success doesn't need an audience, it needs persistence. One day, when the results appear, the same people who ignored your small steps will be amazed by your giant leap. But only you will know that it wasn't a leap at all. It was thousands of small steps that you took when no one was watching. Every small action you take today is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose effort over laziness, focus over distraction, growth over comfort, you are shaping your destiny, one small decision at a time. The lazy boy finally understood that change is not about waiting for miracles. It's about creating them through tiny, consistent acts. So never underestimate the power of what you do daily. A single drop may not seem like much, but when it keeps falling, it can carve through stone. And that's exactly how greatness is built, quietly, patiently, one small action at a time.